Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zoho Zone podcast, where we talk with Zoho partners about their Zoho implementation. I'm Andrew Simpson with Ether Automation, and today on the podcast we have Gordon. I've already forgotten. Mankelow.
Yep.
Gordon Mankelow from Relativity. Gordon, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
Great. So can you tell me about yourself and Relativity, what you do, how you get into Zoho, that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working with tech since I left college for the US guys, and came fresh out of university, started working with a software house, got quite bored with that very quickly, ended up going out by myself, and I started writing systems for intranets. So we were using VB, ASP.NET and things like that. Didn't really want to look after the servers, so started looking for a company that had these bits and pieces that we could just offload all of that onto. And Zoho quickly came to the forefront back then, because we're looking back 15 years now, I think. So back then, it was CRM, Creator, and maybe projects around that sort of time. So we ran out a few of those bits and pieces. Then over a number of years, whilst we were a partner, we weren't only Zoho partner. We were doing other things as well, but we kept on coming back to Zoho. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, we went down the creator path, became creator partners, did the certification, became authorized certified developers, and then moved into the actual Zoho partnership from that way. So yeah, we've been going about 15 years, and now we do nothing but Zoho. So there's nothing else. That all of our other clients have now since long gone, or we've moved them over onto Zoho.
Nice. It's interesting. We got into Zoho for the same reason, right? Like we can code in other environments, but I don't want to manage a server, right? And
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So what is your favorite implementation you've done? I'm sure over 15 years you've done a lot of implementations, but what's the number one that you like?
So it's actually although we're working in the cloud, it's actually our closest client. They're literally 100 yards down the road. And they're a membership organization. They look after, or they created this membership system, a membership organization for play therapists. So they teach people how to be a play therapist and work with children with special educational needs, to help them build their processes and their abilities through play. They came to us via a Microsoft Access person who had delivered this Microsoft Access recording system. It used to record their client sessions for all of the play therapists around the world. Now, there's about 3,000 play therapists, probably knocking on to close to 4,000 now. And the idea was that they'd have this Microsoft Access database, and then once a year, the Microsoft Access databases would come back to the UK, be sent into the UK, and put together somehow so that they could run statistics on it. Now, they looked at it and realized that just wasn't going to happen. Most of the play therapists they're technically okay, but they're not great with technology. So asking them to bundle up Microsoft Access databases and things like that just wasn't going to happen. So they came to us and said, is there another way? And we looked at it and we said, Zoho Creator will be ideal. So we implemented, and it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was an interesting project in terms of building something fresh and new, because we were just told that's the Microsoft Access database. We want it to look and behave a lot like that. So we just pretty much copied the structure of the Microsoft Access database, but then we used the Zoho portal, or the Creator portal, to be able to roll it out. So now the members are actually working on their own, not their own instance, but their own segregated data on our portal app, with all the data coming back into a back end where we can now run, or they can run reports using Zoho Analytics to do all the statistics. Now the statistics are live. I think, what is it? An hour. I think every hour the creator will do the sync. And so their data is now live, and they can pull reports to their heart's content as to how well the play therapists are doing their job, and how well their clients or the children are actually performing once they've gone through the play therapy sessions, etc. And there's lots of surveys they have to do as well to show pre and post therapy and so on.
Interesting. I can imagine that if everyone has like their own, MS Access database that they're updating, someone does the wrong format, inputs data wrong, and suddenly you have to clean up, a bunch of data, or having like, it's not compressing for whatever reason, right? The time required to troubleshoot all that.
Yeah, it was going to be painful. I think they tried to do it once and pull some data in. It just really, the system was quite good in the clever how they did it, but just trying to get all of these thousands of people to do it all at the same time, all in the same format. And generally speaking, these guys were a little bit scared of it anyway, so they were perhaps retrofitting the data into applications. So not only were you actually getting people having problems sending the data to you, but they were having problems getting the data into the system initially all at the same time, because they hadn't actually been using it throughout the year, which they should have done. They were just backloading it within a couple of months of the send-in date. So it was going to be really, really problematic for them. But now there are issues in terms of emails and passwords and things like that. But the rest of it is now so much simpler for them.
Yeah, it sounds a lot simpler. So these therapists, they log into the Creator customer portal and they fill out the survey from within there, rather than adding it to an MS Access like database as a line, and then you get real-time analytics, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's smart. It's a good solution, right? There's no year-long delay anymore.
No, absolutely. No year-long delay using analytics, and Zoho Analytics is, I've got three favorite applications within Zoho, Creator, CRM, and Analytics. Analytics just blows my mind every time I use it in terms of getting data out there. I love the clients who challenge me, who say they want to see this in analytics. And that these guys are exactly that. And so they are, blowing my mind with the analytics that they want out of the system and the stats that they want. But it's not just that. I mean, they've moved on from Creator as well. They've moved on to using CRM internally. And so once a year, they also have to, what they call, revalidate their members, which is basically going out to all of their members, having them fill out a form to say, we've got this insurance, we do this, we have spend this number of hours with clients and so on. That data all comes back into CRM, again via Creator, and again they do statistics on that data. And they moved from a couple of years ago where they were doing this almost manually to now where they're doing it almost automatically. So they send out an email once a year to their 3,000 odd members. The member gets a link which they click on, fill out the form. It all comes back into the CRM. It automatically says whether they've passed or not. And then they have to just deal with those people who have not passed, and they need to go through and find out why they haven't passed, and then talk the client or talk the therapist through what they need to do to pass, etc.
Interesting.
So
is that the same like Creator app? So like phase one is the play, I don't know, form or survey or whatever that is, and then part two was like what do you call it? Recertification?
Revalidation.
Revalidation.
Yeah, it's recertification. So it's actually a separate app that we've done for them purely for the revalidation process, because it's it's totally separate to their business. Some of them don't use the portal app because they've got some sort of issue data-wise locally or within a company that they might work through. So not all of them use it. So it's a separate application, and they've actually run up about 5 or 6 different applications now, because they also do courses for all the therapists that they have to go on. And so they actually have about 4 or 5 different evaluations happening at the end of every workshop that they do. So there's lots of evaluations that, again, they all go out automatically. They all send them back in automatically, and then the statistics flow out through Zoho Analytics.
So they have let me make sure I understand this. So they have in CRM, the play therapists are in CRM, and then there's like an event or you call it a workshop, and everyone else in the workshop.
Andrew, you might cut out then.
All right, let me try it again. So They're in CRM. Each of the members are in CRM,
Yeah.
right? And then there's like an event or a workshop, as you called it, inside CRM. And at the end of that workshop, an email is automatically sent out to all those places that need to fill out the thing in Creator, which then updates what's going on in CRM.
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah. So
That's cool.
so they run the course. The course is made up of 15 different workshops over a period of 6 months, I think it is. And so the course director will press a button at the end of the day and go, that we've dealt with that. Evals go out, evals come back in, and then they're processed all into analytics so that they can do the statistics on it and find out how well the course director is going and how well they're proceeding through the course. And that also goes towards their end certificate as well, because they get a diploma or a certificate at the end of it to say that they've done that course and can actually do the play therapy work.
So are the courses also managed? Like if they wanted to pull, have a new course, in 6 months, they could just pull that in CRM and then like send the invite out for people to sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the invites go online. There's a single form online which they complete. There's a lot that they have to complete in the application, what they've done in terms of history, education, all of those bits and pieces. Again, that's all processed online. They just go to that. They choose the course that they want. The course is automatically picked up from the CRM. And once they've filled out the form, it goes back into the CRM system and then starts the process of sending out emails and so on. They actually use meetings as well, Zoho meetings, to do their interviews, which again are processed through a little form on Creator.
Interesting. That's actually incredibly streamlined, right? I really like that. So I can imagine that was a big change for them, right? Going from like a manual process to kind of invite people to these courses to this very streamlined, very automated system. How do you manage change management for this client?
It's because we're working so closely with them, the change management is actually fairly easy. In terms of an office, they're not a big office. There's maybe 20 people in the office, and we tend to touch base with certainly the managers on a fairly regular basis, because they won't let the system lie. They're forever going, okay, we're now going to do this. We're now going to do that. They're offering, different types of courses and so on. So they're building on the system on a probably monthly basis. So we're actually working with them. And so the change management is more handled by them because they're actually making the requests a lot of the time and going, this is how we want it to work. So they know how it's going to work before they actually have it produced. And more so now that they're in Zoho CRM and Creator, they know what it can do. So they're now really just saying, oh, we just need to do this. We just need a new field, et cetera, et cetera. So the change management has never been an issue with this client. Never.
That's really good. I mean, they come up with what they want, so there's already buy-in on the new process kind of thing.
Yeah. And they've seen how it's helped, so that they're going, how can we get Zoho to further improve our business and further streamline our business? The revalidation thing that we talked about, they've had Zoho now for 4 or 5 years. The revalidation thing only went live in November. So they did that with a small, what they call cohort of about 40 or 50 people. And then in January, February of this year, they did it with the big cohort of 3,000 plus people.
Nice. No, that's really impressive, right? Small rollout, the big rollout. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of issues there.
No, I mean, they're quite good at testing, so we do go through the testing process quite heavily. And because of the structure of how we work, which is very much, I'm a small company and I work with them very closely. Any changes that they need to have done, we're very quick on those changes. And so whilst we might say to them, can we do a bit more testing? A lot of the time we will just go, okay, we're good now. Yes, there'll be some changes along the way, but we can make those as we go.
Okay. So how did the how do the employees feel about the new tools, right? Because, clearly management liked it. They have their analytics there. They're able to see the reports on all the things that they wanted. How do the individual users feel?
Oh, they love it. Again, if I think back to maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, because of the nature of these courses, because they are so long, 6 months or so, it's not unusual for people wanting to put in delays, and they have things that they have to do. They have assignments that they have to do, and like with all students, assignments never always end at the same time. So they're requesting extensions, they're requesting delays on their work, and again, that was a process where what was happening previously, the therapist or the student was emailing their course director. The course director was then emailing the head office. The head office was going back to the course director. The course director was going back to the therapist, to the student, and so on and so on. We've now again put a form on the website. They log into the form. They choose the course that they're currently working on, fill out the assignments they've done and what they need the extensions on and everything else, and that all just gets pushed back in. Immediately goes back in. The office gets an email to say it's there or a task to say it's there. They just check it, confirm it, sends an email off to the course director. The course director approves it or denies it. That all gets fed back into the CRM and then back out again to the student. So again, another process which was horrendous for them. They were getting apparently some weekends they would get 100 emails in to say we want to delay. So now they don't do that. Now it all goes in through the system automatically. They're checking a few bits and pieces on data already there. They've answered all the questions they need answered straight away. They can make a decision and send it off to the course director. They love it. And this is opening up so much more time for them to be able to work on the business and in the business rather than playing around trying to deal with the students and the therapists.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I mean, we talked before for the podcast about emailing and the time it takes to reply to all of those things, right? I can imagine 100 emails over a weekend ruin someone's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday just to catch up to all. So that's very smart that was streamlined.
Yeah, absolutely. And because the emails were coming in without all the information on them, they're having to go to and fro, play email tennis, etc., for a few goes just to get the information they needed to be able to pass it on to the course director to make a decision. So now they know when it comes in, they've got all the information they need.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Is there anything that is automated for them at this point? Like, it sounds like that whole business was streamlined pretty significantly.
I don't know what they're going to pull out of their bag next is I think the honest answer to that. I know they've got a few things that are going on which aren't. I think they're still working out as to whether they can automate them, and they're going through their processes. They're brand new to them, some of these things, so they're going through their processes, making sure that they've got the manual process correct, and then they'll come to us and go, okay, we now know what the process is. Let's see if we can automate it.
Got it. That's really good. Gordon, thanks for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of Gordon, you can go to his website. It's relativity.co.uk. All right. Once again, Gordon, thank you for joining the podcast.